Hey, this is Pete from Abstract Ocean. Here's a quick demo of the product before we go into the unboxing and installation. Stay tuned to the end for a demo at night, but you'll see that once it's installed it looks completely factory. You've got hundreds of color combinations, it can react to music, and it turns off when you leave the car.
So you've seen what it can do, so let's take a look at what's in the box and then we'll get to the installation. So opening it up, there's a few things in here, so I'm just going to lay them out. So starting with this, this is the micro LED strip. It's the perfect length for the Model 3 and Model Y dash, and it's exceptionally bright. So this is a super new technology that uses kind of edgeless LED on the edge, I guess. But what it allows for is a really intense, bright light without any hotspots, as you see kind of on the old school LED strips. So I'm gonna just pop that back in the box. This does want to get a bit lively. All right, so let's do the boring stuff first. So very simple, we just have a little trim opener, I guess. You'll see how it's used when we get to the installation. It's just a very thin kind of pry. It's certainly not got any strength, it doesn't need it. It's just kind of opening a little plastic lip underneath your dash. This is VHB or 3M VHB gel tape. So we don't normally need to use this. There are some options or some older Model 3s, I don't think any Model Ys, that have a version of the dash that doesn't have the little plastic lip that we're going to be using in the installation video. So I'll cover it in the video, but we include this just in case you have one of those cars. And then this is the controller. So it's Bluetooth. There is an app for this, which obviously I'll link to, or you can just control it from the button on top. There's hundreds of options. The button on top controls kind of the top 10 or top 20, I think. But kind of once you set your option, you probably don't need to use the app that much, but this is just a quick way of doing it. And then this little cool doodad is a Cybertruck inspired USB hub. This is what plugs into your USB outlet in your glove box. So obviously USB-A on that side. This side is for your Sentry stick, so this supports high-speed data. And then we've got two more USB-As and then a USB-C as well. So it kind of expands your port. You will need to use up one of these A's for this, of course. But you'll still have one more free and then a USB-C as well, which could be useful. And then finally, this little bit of magic. So this is the sensor, and you can see it kind of, it's got an in and an out. So this is where this will go in, like that, and then obviously out to here. So what this does, it detects occupancy in the car. So let me explain how this actually works. So normally when you leave your car and lock it, all the USB hubs, or sorry, all the USB ports stay hot. Obviously the one in the glove box is used for your Sentry recordings, so that stays hot for as long as the car is not in a sleep mode. The exception being is if you have Sentry set to not being enabled when you're at home. Anyway, so what this does is turn off the lights, the dash lights, after 30 seconds, and it works incredibly well. It's almost magic. It just detects movement, sound, and heat, I suppose. But what you actually end up doing is just throwing this in the glove box. You never need to think about it. When you open the door, the lights come on. When you close the door, the lights go off after 30 seconds. Now you might not think that's important, but trust me, when you're parked maybe at the movie theater or somewhere at night outside a restaurant, the light strip is quite bright and it does draw attention, so it's good to have that go off after 30 seconds. Of course, if anyone knocks your car or something like that, or knocks on the window, then the light strip lights up. You've probably got Sentry mode lighting up the headlamps as well, so it's a good kind of deterrent and everything else. So this is kind of the secret sauce that makes a great product awesome, because it makes it very practical to use. That's it. So now we're going to grab the Model Y and do the installation. Right, we're in our Model Y. I've got all the stuff laid out up here. Before we start, quick tour of current accessories. So we have this nice simple glove box hook, hanging stuff on. This is the control bar. This will be on the site pretty soon at the time of recording. Powered Qi charger, of course. And then this cool little doodad with retractable Lightning and or USB-C that you can charge your phone from. It also has USB-C and A on top. So that's that. All right, so what we're going to do first of all is pop the glove box open using our sexy button. And we're just going to remove this panel on the end. So very easy, it just snaps off. You'll see there's 3 clips, very easy to remove. So the first thing we're going to do is just run the single wire, which is going to come down here and go through this hole just here. So very easy to do. Don't need any tools for this. So let me grab the strip. This has quite the memory on it, so obviously make sure that you've got it so that the LED side is facing out, which is the clear, the white side. Just going to lay this along here, and then all we're going to do is, actually just for bearings, so you have window vents, angled window vents at the end of the dash, which kind of fire out this way. So this is where the light strip starts and finishes at the other end. So this is kind of where it's going to sit once it's properly installed. So what I'm going to do is just pull this over the top here. And I'm going to just put on the dash a little bit, no big deal at all, just to get it so I can run the cable down there. So nice and easy. And then depending on your generation of dash, you may have removable end caps here as well. Doesn't matter, you don't need to remove them. In fact, you shouldn't. They're not very easy to get on and off. But yours may just look a little bit different. And then I'm going to just poke it through this handy dandy little hole there, and I'm going to reach around in the glove box. So hopefully you can see on one camera there's kind of a little opening here, and then feed that back through. Just kind of going to grab it with your finger. It's not difficult, just a bit fiddly, but that'll come through. Let me do it with my other finger that bends the other way. Okay, so now we have the wire routed to the glove box. So next thing is we can actually put the end plate back on. So let's go ahead and do that. That just snaps on. Don't need that anymore. So we'll worry about wiring it once we've got everything tucked in. So now we're going to just grab this strip. Let's use that. Okay, so we want it with this side facing out, of course. And then this is going to be very difficult to show on a camera, but there's a little, let me see if I can get the camera in real close on that. So there's a little sort of plastic, I don't know what you call it really, but just a plastic piece that runs all the way along here. And it just supports this sort of foamy bit of the dash. And what we're going to do is just tuck this into there. So super easy to do. We're just going to turn this over the top, and remember that we have this window vent here, so that's where we want to start the light strip. And we're just going to tuck it in like that, and then we're just going to keep working our way along, just using this as kind of a platform just to shove it in. Makes it super easy. As you get behind the screen, it obviously gets a little bit more fiddly, but no problem at all. Okay, so before I carry on, just want to show you one more thing. If for some reason your Y or 3 doesn't have this little plastic piece here, and it may not if you have an early 3 with a sort of, it wasn't even a first generation dash, it was more like a 0.9, then we also include this is VHB tape, so you'll just use this to stick it up under here as well. The trick is you don't want to be able to see it. You know, this is ambient lighting, so you don't want to be able to see the strip, so you want to get it kind of about an inch back, which is where this plastic strip is right now. So kind of if you have if your finger's the same size as me, a little bit more than your first knuckle, but that's what she said. And this is the gel tape, so it's quite strong, but the way you would do it is run it along the length of the, I'll just put it out for a second. You just run it along this top surface here, like so. Obviously peel off the red protective layer, and then apply a decent amount of pressure and let it sit for at least overnight with the air off. Now obviously, you know, I've got the air running right now, it's fairly warm here, but you want to reduce the moisture and just any kind of circulation here so that the adhesive can take. and then that'll stay in place as well. But as I say, most of you are not going to need this. You'll just use the plastic strip that's already there. Okay, so starting over, just tuck this in, grab this, move it over the top like that. I didn't say it because it's kind of obvious, but the feeder wire, the power wire, it's, you know, it's thin, it's fairly fragile, so just be a little careful with it. Alright, I'm going to jump around to the driver's side and finish up. Okay, so same thing, I'm just going to sort of pry this open a little bit and just use that to ride it into the slot. Oops. And you'll see that we're ending just here, so this is the other window vent that fires out this way, so that's where we want the end of the strip to be. Everything gets in the way here, the stalks, the wheel, the center screen, just, you know, deal with that obviously, as we all do. And just work your finger along there just to make sure it's evenly tucked in. Pop that out. So that's the light strip installed. Hopefully you can see that it's completely invisible, which is fantastic. So now we'll go back to the glove box and get it wired up. So what I'm going to do first, this is the USB hub that we're going to use. You can see I've got my Sentry USB in here already. So I'm going to take that out, put that inside, plug this back in. That gives me all the ports I need. And it is actually kind of sculpted to the side of the glove box. That's great. You know, normally this is a $20 or $30 accessory. It's included with this. And then the other piece of magic, which I mentioned earlier, is occupancy sensor. So this goes in line. So we're going to plug the male end into one of the USB-A ports on here. As you'll know, you'll always do it wrong the first time, and then get it right the second time. And then the last bit I need is the controller. So this goes into there like that, and then this just clips in to here, like so. Don't know if you can see it on the camera, don't even know if you're pointing up here, but now we have some light coming here. So that's really it. It's as simple as that. This just needs to be in your glove box. I'll show a demo of this working at the end of this video, but just trust me, it just works. It's like magic. Don't overthink it. So you can change modes, as I mentioned, pretty easily just by pressing this button. So this just cycles through some of the basic settings. It is sound activated as well, so you've got various options that will sync with your music. You've got Night Rider effects. I'll do a separate video kind of going over the phone app as well. So typically the way we use it, we set it to what we like. This is kind of cool, but we set it to whatever we like, either using the phone or using this, and then we don't really do much with it. So it's up to you if you want to mess around with it a lot more. But that's it. That's a super simple install. The only tool you need is this. This is barely a tool, and that's just to tuck that in. But other than that, this just happily sits in here, close it all up, and this is as close to factory as you'll get. It's the only kit on the market with auto on and auto off using that amazing dongle, and then you get a cool USB hub as well that opens up a couple of extra ports, a C and an A. Okay, so you can see it's kind of, sun is going down now. I just wanted to give you a quick demo of the dash strip at dusk. So it's off at the moment. As soon as I open the door, it's going to come on from that sensor. See our puddle light down there, footwell lights in there. So you can see just how bright it is, even when it's, you know, pretty light outside still. So really, really high quality. You cannot see the actual physical LEDs, which is awesome. You have to come way down here and then you can kind of see it, but that's not normal. So that's how it looks. Really, really sharp. Alright, so it's basically dark now. Ignore what the iPhone's trying to do to the sky. So I'm going to walk up to the car, open the door. Footwell lights are still on from last time. So you see the dash comes on, it's beautiful. Puddle light as well, super bright. And then what I'm going to do is close the door just to quickly demonstrate the sensor working as it should. So about So about 35 seconds from now, that's going to go out. We'll speed through this bit. I'll put a timer up in the corner. And there you go. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for another video that goes over the phone app and just the various light effects.